You know, like,
Ooh, God. They hold their value. So if you ever need to pawn them, you can get some cash for it. Just don't pawn it for too much so you can pay it back. Ready to edit that out. Hi, my name is Justin. In this video, I'm going to review the Taylor 314 CE. I'm also going to review, well, not really review, but just talk about the humidifier, hygrometer, and the microfiber cloth you'll need. You don't need it, but you should have it. Talk about all that in this video. I usually make fishing videos and I have a fishing channel, but I really wanted to review this guitar. One, because I really need the views. And two, I love this guitar. This thing's my baby. If you want to purchase it, I have a link for it on Amazon for $1,800 US. I'll also have the links for the humidifiers, which you need. You absolutely need humidifiers. Hygrometer, highly recommend. Yeah, you really need a hygrometer. You need like two at least two, maybe three, but they're cheap. And a Diodario cloth, microfiber cloth, that's really excellent for wiping it down when you're done. Okay, so it's the Taylor 314 CE, which stands for, cutaway electric. So you have this cut, and it's electric. The body, it's called a Grand Auditorium. It's sort of like an all-purpose guitar. For those of you who don't know, Taylor has their series that goes up to like 900, I think, or maybe even more. But they have a 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, etc. Your 300 series is your entry-level professional guitar. So a pro playing at a concert could plug this in and be ready to go. So it's entry-level. I'm not a musician by any means at all. I do like playing the guitar, so I usually pick it up for like a couple months and then I don't play it for like 6 months. So, but sitting down at guitar stores, the way I'd explain it is like, one of the reasons I'm making this video is if you're on that cusp between like the 200 series and the 300 series, and because the 200 series is $1,100. And then somewhere around there, and then the 300 starts at $1,800. So you're looking at like $700 difference, $800 difference, and you're thinking, should I really spend that extra money? And I would say yes, absolutely. It's absolutely worth it. Find that money somehow and get the 300 series. And I would also say that, like, if you're willing to spend up to $3,000 on a guitar, $3,500, then this, I think, I haven't played 1,000 guitars. Just mostly from like trying all the guitars at the guitar shop. I think you'll be extremely happy with this performance. But I think once you're looking to spend more than $4,000 on a guitar, you might want to consider either a higher model Taylor or a different brand. Like I know Martins. Like I think Martins, like a Martin below $4,000, I think are just I don't like the sound. I don't like really anything about it, but when you start spending more than $4,000 on a Martin, those are pretty sweet. Those are really, really nice. And so basically, like, if you're willing to spend $3,500, I think you'd be extremely happy with this guitar. And so I mentioned that this is the Pro. This is like an entry-level professional guitar. And so for the 100 and 200 series for Taylor, some of the major differences are, well, one, it's the 300 is made in America, and the 200s are made, I think, in Mexico. The wood, it's all real wood, solid wood. So it's a hollow guitar, but it's solid wood, meaning the 100 and 200 series are, the back and sides are laminate wood. So it's like two like paper thin slices of wood glued together, basically. But the 300, it's all a solid cut of wood. So it just sounds better, and the other thing is it sort of grows and expands together. And also, like the 100 and 200 series, like I noticed I used to have I think a 212, which is the Dreadnought, and like it wasn't perfect. Like no matter what I did, there were like 4 or 5 notes that would ring, and I just couldn't get it to where it wasn't ringing. So you kind of take a gamble on it. Like it might be imperfect. They have pretty high quality standards at Taylor, but still. But once you buy the 300 series, you're guaranteed that it's perfect. So the performance is absolutely perfect. There's not a note on here that doesn't ring true. A really beautiful sound that rings through and true. And the other difference is the pickup. This is the Expression 2 pickup. In the 100 and 200 series pickups, the way I understand it, the way Taylor sort of describes it is, as you increase the strength of your strumming, the sound output grows exponentially. So if you, like, let's say you have like your standard strumming pattern, or your strength, is like a 1. Well, if you strum twice as hard, then the output is 4 times as loud. And if you strum 3 times as hard, then your output is 9 times as loud. But with the Expression 2, it's all synced up. So if you strum 3 times as hard, the output sound is 3 times as loud. So those are like your major differences between the 200 and 300 series. And that's one of the reasons I'm making the video, because if you're thinking like, should I, it's awkward, filter there. But if you're thinking, should I spend that extra $800, $700 and get the 300 series? Absolutely. It's so worth it. It's ridiculous. Just find that money somehow. I'll go into the wood right now. The wood, the top is Sitka spruce. The body is Sapele, I think is how you say it. I want to say Sapele for some reason, but I think I've heard it as Sapele wood. And the fretboard is ebony. And the neck, and I think this is the heel, they call it the heel, I don't know, is tropical mahogany. So the sound is, I categorize it as like a medium, bright, crisp sound. It's not real bassy. It's like even, it's like balanced. It's a balanced sound, a little on the brighter side. It's not like, I'm not a musician, so, but it's it's just real bright and like, like I don't know if you've ever sat down and played like a $1,000 Martin. You know how bassy those are, like real deep. This is like even and bright and crisp. Like I said, every note rings true. There's not a note on here that doesn't ring. I could play the action, a little bit on the higher side. I might have it reset. Ask somebody, I'd pay someone to reset it so they can get the action just a little lower. But it's really fine. It's really not a big deal at all. Like, I mean, I can play my bar chords up here. You know, everything ring. You know, I'll go right up here onto the. You know, on the cheaper guitars, that's where you have trouble a lot of times. It's like up here, like right where the neck meets the body. Up here, it's fine. Bar chord rings through. You know, where the neck meets the body is on the cheaper guitars. A lot of times, that's where you have troubles. But it's fine. Even everything rings true. That F chord. Comes through. It's really not an issue. Just a great. I can't. Again, if you're going to spend up to $3,500, these are really great. Now I'll talk about the aesthetics. It's got black trim, which I love. I spent $1,700 on this. Bought it 2 years ago, so I was billing like the next series up to 400 was $200 more, and then the 500 was $400 more. So spending $1,700, I was totally willing to spend up to that 400. It was 400 more to get a higher quality guitar, but I really like the black trim, and that's only offered on the 300 as far as I think at least up to the 500 series. It was black. You know, the 4 and 500 were white trim, and I just thought the black pickguard with the black trim was just gorgeous. Like, I think it's a really gorgeous guitar, and so that was one reason I didn't buy the next model up. And although it's not aesthetics, it's a lot lighter than the 4 and 500 series. Like, a lot lighter. Like, I don't know what the exact weight is, but just trust me, it's a lot lighter. I actually met a guy out who he was playing at a bar, and he was an older guy, and he was using this, and he was saying that the reason he chose this guitar was because it was so light, because he has back problems. So just something to consider. The ebony, try and get you a close up of the ebony. Like, I don't know how much you can see some light. It's not pure black. I mean, there are some, you can see some brown running through it. Well, actually, it's hard to tell. I don't have natural light. It is pretty dark, though. But as I understand it, the pure black ebony are reserved for the higher models. So they're reserved for the high models. So there might be a little bit of brown in here, but it's actually pretty dark, if that matters to you. And then you have, like, I don't know if you can see it. There's like a little run in the wood right here. So on your 300 models, you're not going to have a perfect. They take the symmetrically perfect slices, and they reserve those for the higher models. So a little bit of a run right here. Sort of going to be by chance though, because the one that they had on display looked pretty good. It was perfect. Definitely didn't have that little knot in it. You can see that right down here. But the reason I got this one is because nobody had ever played it before. It was downstairs, so he went and got it from me downstairs. Um, the nut is Tusk, and I'm trying to think. So this pick guard's black. There's this wrinkling is just I haven't taken the plastic off it. I probably will now though because it's starting to affect the sound. I can hear the pick rub up against it. But that's just the plastic guard to the pick guard. I can just peel it right off. And you have your amplifier sound knobs right here. Really discreet, you can barely even notice it. Your neck strap's going to be, it's going to hold up on the beginning of the neck here. Now my one complaint that I have is that the back and sides are a matte finish, so you don't get that high gloss back, side and back. You have to go to the 400 series for that, and I really wanted it. So it's a matte finish, so in natural light you can see a little bit of a glare if I angle it right, it looks nice, but to me it's not as beautiful as a high gloss back finish. But I really like the black trim, and it was lighter, and I don't know, I just like this guitar more than the 500 series, so I stuck with it. But that's the one complaint I have about this is that it's a matte finish, and it's not as beautifully gorgeous as a high gloss back finish because you can't shine this up. The high gloss back finish, you can shine it up, you can polish it and shine it, and then it'll really bring out the grains in the wood. But you have to get the 4-500, at least the 4-500 to get that. So that's really the only complaint I have. I mean, it's just really perfect. It's a perfect guitar, functions perfectly. It's a professional series, so you could go into Madison Square Garden. Is it still Madison Square Garden? But you could plug it in and play with Dave Matthews if you wanted to. That's my review for the guitar. I'm going to get into the accessories you need. This is real wood, so if it dries out, it'll crack. I go to a bar and I watch. I really like this one cover band that plays, and one of the guitarists has a Taylor, and I was just talking to him, and it's got a huge split down the middle. So when the guitar dries, he said he never kept it in a case. It's just when people do that, it drives me crazy. But the wood can dry out, and the neck can dry out. So you really you want to protect your, well, one is you want ultimate performance from it. It's a perfect guitar, so you want to keep it that way. And you don't want it to break. I've talked to a number of guys now that have let high-end guitars break, and just because they don't put a humidifier in their case. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's really stupid. Like, you take care of it. It performs perfectly. You can keep it that way for the rest of your life. And if you just by chance need to or want to make an adjustment on the neck, Taylor has you can take the necks off and have someone professionally go in and adjust the neck. So, but as long as there are guarantees that if you keep it hydrated, you'll never have to do that. So it would be as long as you kept it hydrated, it would just be a preference. So let me talk about those. Accessories you need. An Oasis, and I'll have links for these in the description box. But an Oasis humidifier. Now, humidifiers, like, I talked to a lot of people, and I actually talked to one guy who said he had a high-end Martin, and he said it crumbled on him, just completely just cracked and dried. And he said, yeah, I kept the humidifier in there. I don't understand what happened. And he went on. I didn't say anything because I felt bad, but he said he had those pouches. Like, it's like I forget who makes it, but there's maybe a couple different versions of the pouches. But those are different. Those regulate the humidity as opposed to humidify it. So those sort of like try to extend the humidity in the case, but they don't humidify the case. That's the thing, is like when it dries out, it dries out. You need to humidify it. So you really need these, and you want to use distilled water. And I have 3, and I don't always use 3 of them, but sometimes my case, if I don't play my guitar for a couple months at a time, my case dries out completely. So I'll use 2 of these to sort of get it humidified faster. You just put water in them, and they have crystals. These crystals, I don't know what it is, but it humidifies the case and keeps your guitar at the right moisture level. You need, I think Taylor recommends between 50 and 55% humidity. I like to keep mine at right around 45%, 45%, because it's like I never go lower than 40 or 45%, but so as the wood dries, when there's less humidity, like, so you have your saddle right here, and then your strings are sitting on top of and this is the body of your guitar right here, and you have your bridge. As you get more moisture, the bridge swells and rises, so it brings your strings farther up from the fretboard. So I like to keep it at like 40, 45%, and then it'll sink a little, the wood will dry out and sink just a little, and bring those strings just a little closer to the fretboard. And I measure my humidity with the Oasis hygrometer, and I have 2 of them. You should Rob Taylor, Jim Taylor, the owner of Taylor, he recommends 3, and that way, if one's off, you'll know if one's off. These are cheap; these are like $10. And you keep 3 in your case, and that way you know if one's off, you can replace it. But if they're all having the same reading, you know they're all working. But you need that. You need this too, so your guitar stays healthy and performs perfectly. And then just a microfiber cloth, Diodario, which works excellent. It's really, really great. I wipe it down after every time I play. So it's just a really great cloth. And we'll talk about the case now. I'll have to bring the camera up. So this is it. This is your case. It's brown leather. I think it's leather. And then you got like a velvet looking purplish material. You got your compartment right there. And I'll keep my hygrometers up here in the corner in the cutaway. I don't know what else to say about the case. It's a Taylor case. Nice case. It's like $200, but that's included in the $1,800. So that's your case. It's just standard acoustic case. It's heavy, but you want to use this to protect your guitar. You don't want a soft case. I would never use a soft case with this guitar. All right, I'm gonna put that. So thanks for watching. That's the review. Gorgeous guitar, beautiful, perfect. It's like a part of me. Like I love that guitar, and they hold their value. So if you ever need to pawn them, you can get some cash for it. Just don't pawn it for too much, so you can pay it back. But that's the review. Thanks for watching. If you're willing to spend $3,500, I think you'll be thrilled with that guitar. It's a really great guitar. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope that helped. You gotta keep it humidified. I've talked to I love cover bands. So when I go out and watch cover bands, I'll talk to guys with Taylors, and I've met a bunch of people, like at least 6 now, that told me their guitars have cracked. And when I ask them if they put a humidifier, do they humidify the case, they all say no, or they don't humidify it properly. You really need humidifiers. So get yourself a humidifier and the hygrometer, and you'll enjoy the guitar for the rest of your life. And just have a beautifully perfect sounding guitar for the rest of your life. Okay, so thank you. And it only gets better with age. The wood only gets better with age, so better sound with age. So thank you. And I know you'll be extremely happy. If you want it, check that link. You can get it off Amazon. Thanks.